let's talk about two quarterbacks in Pittsburgh right now, Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. Both of them got a bunch of headlines surrounding them as we approach OTAs and minicamp. We'll start with Justin Fields here. There's a growing belief from a lot of people, including a couple of big-time analysts and some team insiders, saying that there's likely a 50-50 shot that Justin Fields starts in 2024. There's a lot of people, David Carr, former first overall pick, included, saying that Justin Fields might overtake Russell Wilson before the season even starts. What are you putting on Justin Fields' start? Like, do you put any stock on Justin Fields being the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season?
Yeah, 50-50 seems real generous. I think it's entirely possible that Fields starts a game. I think there's absolutely a scenario where, Russell Wilson gets hurt or something like that, and he's got to step in for a couple games. But the idea that he completely overtakes Wilson for the starting job seems pretty. It seems like a real long shot to me. Because I think not only would Wilson have to be, this is a little bit, I think, like, I think we talked about that. Like, this is Wilson, I think, would have to start like actively hurting the team. It couldn't just be that he's like not throwing for enough yards or is not being dynamic enough, in my opinion. I think if he starts throwing a bunch of picks and starts taking bad sacks, that's how I could see it kind of start to come together. But the sacks are one thing that's been a part of Wilson's game for a while, but the interceptions, not really as much. There's not as much on his track record that tells you he doesn't take care of the football, that he can't make smart decisions. And I think that's the only way that you would say, it's time to go with Fields if you're the Steelers. So I think it's only injury or a real disaster of a season from Russ that I'm not really expecting to come that would force Wilson or Fields into a starting job. I like Fields. I think he's dynamic. I think he's got a ton of talent, but it just doesn't seem like he's in the plan for this year really at all.
No, I agree. I think that it's all like everything the Steelers have told us. We've gone far enough away. That's what happens is we move far enough away from the league meetings and, Russ getting signed and Mike Tomlin talking and all these things to the point where we start to forget what they said and we start to just, those words don't mean anything anymore. But if you go back, I mean, the message has been clear the whole time. Russell Wilson is going to be in pole position to start. The Steelers have a plan for Russell Wilson. They want Russell Wilson to be the guy. I think that during this time of the offseason, you start to forget what you thought a month ago because, you haven't heard those in a while. So maybe they're not as true anymore. They are. They hold just as much ground. Russell Wilson is the guy this year, unless proven otherwise. And just like you said, like it's going to be so hard. There's almost no shot that Justin Fields walks in as the week 1 starter. During the season, again, just like you said, if Russ is throwing interception after interception, if he's just having an absolutely disastrous start to the season, yep, okay, I could see Justin Fields going in there. But I have a hard time believing Russell Wilson's going to walk in here and be like, I am now a really bad quarterback. I am just not a guy that's built to start in the NFL, so Justin Fields has to be the guy. The Steelers don't have it in their plans. We all want to talk about it, and people want to like make it out to seem like, hey, Justin Fields is really talented. I could see that happening. The Steelers are as slow as humanly possible when it comes to putting guys in position to start. They keep guys, they keep rookies, they keep all these new guys as off to the side as long as you possibly can before they're almost forced to make that change. I think that's how they're going to approach Justin Fields is how long can we keep him on the bench to learn before we force him into a starting role, because I think they believe that gives him the best shot long-term to be the starter. That's how I view the situation.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I think like they do really view Justin Fields as a long-term investment.
Yeah.
Like I think first of all that they're going to try to extend him or sign him to a new contract before this season ends. They're going to try to lock him up. They're going to try to lock him up cheap. And they're going to try to do that before he starts playing and before he starts showing you anything, quite honestly. Like I think they have a lot of faith in his talent and they don't want, I don't know, not that they don't want him to succeed on the field, but I think they would be fine if he didn't succeed on the field quite so quickly, and if they could get him for a cheaper rate, they could lock him up long-term. If they could say, hey, Russ, thanks for the memories. Thanks for the 1 year to help us bridge the gap from whatever the quarterback situation was before to our next generation, our next sign of what's to come. I don't think they're going to actively, hurt his career or hold him on the bench if he's the guy, but I don't think they would be mad if Wilson or Fields, kind of took a redshirt year a little bit.
No chance. That's exactly it. Like this, they are in a situation and they understand how good of a situation there is. They might have the best bridge quarterback of all time. Like they might have a bridge quarterback that's outside of maybe Peyton Manning, who wasn't supposed to be a bridge quarterback turned into a bridge quarterback for nobody. It was supposed to be Brock Osweiler. That didn't happen. They have hands down the greatest, one of the greatest bridge quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, and they have an opportunity to take full advantage of that, and they're going to. They're not going to rush things. They're not going to make sharp decisions. And again, we've talked about this time and time again. Like, do you know how hard it would be for Russell Wilson to lose a starting job in training camp? Like, who are you? What are you doing? How many interceptions are you throwing? I've been at training camp where Ben Roethlisberger has thrown multiple interceptions in a day. Nobody batted an eye. Nobody thought twice about it. Mitch Trubisky he looked terrible at times in training camp. Still got the starting job because he was the starting quarterback going into it. The Steelers are going to look at Russell Wilson the same way. They're going to say, he's our starting guy. It's going to be nearly impossible for Justin to change that, but at least we're going to give Justin a shot to develop. So I would give it almost nothing. During the season, maybe it improves a little bit, but again, I just don't want people to get their hopes up. I think that's the biggest thing is I don't want people to get, hey, Justin Fields is going to be the guy. Justin Fields is going to get a shot. Just don't fall for that. Not yet. Yeah. If we go to training camp, it could be different.
Yeah. And I think even the stuff about, they're going to be packages for him. He's going to be, a part of the offense. Like, I don't really buy that stuff that much either. I don't think they're going to risk, I don't know. It just doesn't, it seems very un-Steelers like to say, well, we're just going to use Justin Fields. We're going to use our backup quarterback as a running back sometimes, or a slot receiver like that. That stuff doesn't make much sense to me either. So like you said, don't want anyone to get their hopes up. Like, I think Fields, again, is really talented. I think both of us really like him, but he's a long-term investment for the Steelers, not someone they're going to try to really shoehorn into the offense this year when he doesn't really belong.
No, and honestly, when you talk about other packages, like if this was Matt Canada's offense, I could see him trying to do some stupid stuff by putting both of them on the field. Arthur Smith ain't going to do that. I could see both of those quarterbacks being on the field 3 times this season at the same time, just in all right, let's test it out. Screw it. It's week 7. Let's see if it works. At least then we got it in the back pocket for the Super Bowl or something else. But I could see 3 times absolutely max.